Fanous.
Good morning, Chairman Menendez. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to testify on the difficulties our nation's homeless veterans face and the steps our organization has taken to answer the call to end all homelessness among veterans within 5 years. I am the Executive Director and founder of the GI Go Fund, a grassroots 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to assist our nation's heroes along the difficult path of transition. The GI Go Fund was founded in 2006 following the death of one of my closest childhood friends, Army Lieutenant Seth DeVorn, from wounds he suffered while attempting to dismantle an IED in Iraq. The organization began as a small community group, which aimed to preserve the memory of my friend by providing veterans with days of rest and relaxation. However, as we began to understand these men and get to know them, we began to understand that their problems didn't end the minute they stepped back foot on American soil, that the problems actually just began. Our veterans who have just endured and survived the unimaginable are now expected to execute a smooth transition back to civilian life. They are expected to reestablish relationships with family and friends. They are expected to find either long-term secure employment based on their work experience in the military or are expected to become students utilizing the post-9/11 GI Bill. All this while still tending to their mental and physical wounds by fully addressing and utilizing their VA benefits. It has been my experience that a fragmented transition, which results from one of these steps being missed or mishandled, leaves our veterans to face a myriad of problems that can range from fractured family ties, unemployment, depression, as well as many others. This is all in addition to the veterans experience physical or mental wounds. The issues can fester and manifest to become chronically debilitating ailments. Ultimately, a fragmented transition is the primary cause of homelessness among our nation's veterans, and we must formulate a two-pronged approach that first works to avoid future homelessness among new veterans while simultaneously ending the current disaster. This two-pronged approach has been implemented by Mayor Booker of Newark, New Jersey, who has partnered with our organization to create the first ever nonprofit-run municipal office of Veterans Affairs, which aims to help veterans find employment and get off the streets when they are actually homeless. When a soldier returns to the United States from Iraq or Afghanistan, he or she is immediately inundated with the problems many Americans face today, which include unemployment, an empty refrigerator, shut-off notices, or an eviction or foreclosure notice. While our organization has assisted thousands of American military families with these problems as they arise by hosting job fairs to address the unemployment, but also providing direct financial assistance to help put food on the table and keep a roof over their heads, it just isn't enough. The root of the financial difficulties usually stem from unemployment. Like any one of us here today, a veteran cannot pay for groceries if they are unemployed. A veteran cannot pay for utilities if they are unemployed. A veteran cannot pay for a mortgage if they are unemployed. However, unlike the rest of us sitting here today, these men and women have been defending our nation's freedom against the threat of terrorism, causing them to miss years of their lives. Our nation's veterans deserve our patience, assistance, and understanding that it will take some time to put these lives back on track. In addition, the Department of Labor's Office of Federal Contract Compliance, which oversees the hiring practices of federal contractors as it pertains to women, minorities, veterans, and people with disabilities, tracks numbers on the number of women and minorities that are hired by federal contractors. However, it does not track the number of veterans which are hired by federal contractors. Until our federal contractors and all of our employers in the country take affirmative action to hire our veterans now, we will not be able to end the flow of veterans onto the streets. On any given night in America, 1/3 of all homeless people are men and women who proudly served our nation. They live in boxes and under bridges. They are forgotten heroes. To end this national disaster, a vigorous series of partnerships between all branches of government and at all levels of government must be forged with community groups and faith-based organizations. However, these partnerships must result in veterans actually getting off the streets, not the same outreach attempts which have failed in the past, like the Veterans Homeless Stand-Down, which we host every year in the city of Newark, which amounts to nothing more than just a nice day for veterans. They come in, they get a hot meal, they get some clothes, but they go right back out on the streets. Doesn't accomplish much. This more can only come in the form of housing. More housing, more beds, more transitional beds, more permanent housing, as we spoke about with the HUD-VASH. Housing projects like the one we're working on in the city of Newark, which will pursue to rehabilitate a 33,000 square foot building into a transitional housing facility that will house 100 homeless veterans. In a state that has 9,000 homeless veterans on any given night, and a state that only has less than 200 permanent housing, transitional housing facilities. We need more. And in conclusion, I'd like to thank you, Senator Menendez, and all the members of the committee for providing me the time to speak about this important issue on ending homelessness within 5 years. While the task that lies before us is great and the clock has already begun ticking, I leave here today deeply encouraged by the attention this committee has shined on the issue. I am encouraged that the chairman of this committee, Chairman Menendez, has in his congressional office a liaison that fights for veterans' issues in the state of New Jersey with a passion that is unmatched. And I am most encouraged that President Obama and Secretary Shinseki have made ending homelessness among veterans a top priority of the new administration. I'm encouraged, but I'm keenly aware of the enormity of the task at hand, and I'm ready to dig in and manifest the direction provided by the President and Congress. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Fanous, you talked about fragmentation. So if you had a magic wand and could make what you think is the best coordinated effort to take place, what would it be?
Well, honestly, Senator, I believe that the most important thing would be to have all the stakeholders who are providing care for veterans. They should be localized and put into one location. When a veteran has to travel from the VA in one part of the state and has to go to the Social Security Administration to another part of the state, and then he has to go to Salvation Army or the GI Go Fund, and he's got to drive all over the state. Many times they don't have enough money to put gas in their car. It just gets that simple, that the facilities all have to be together in one centralized location, which is something that we are hoping to work on in the city of Newark, was create a mall of services, just a one-stop, legitimate one-stop mall of services where one office would be Social Security Administration, one office would be the VA, one office would be various nonprofits that can support veterans. If a veteran can just walk into one spot, which is kind of what the VA's War-Related Illness Injury Center has at the VA, where they try to handle all medical issues at one point. If you can try to handle all issues completely, veterans issues from the Department of Labor, every single one of those departments is the best chance you're going to have to helping veterans. Otherwise, it's going to stay fragmented, because if a veteran goes to the VA and he talks to one person, he might not know that he has to go to the Social Security Administration. He might not be getting the right information, which is what happens every single day. I see it every single day in my office. It sounds like it's easily fixed, but I haven't found a way to do so. And it's just every single veteran that I see in my office that comes in with a problem, it's because they didn't handle a certain part of their transition. Something was missing, whether it be the employment, whether it be the VA, whether it be the education, whether it be something. They missed something. And unless everybody's housed together and providing services for them together, I don't see how it's going to change.
So a holistic one-stop service effort is what you're talking about.
Like our office serves as a one-stop where we have information from every office. However, I don't think that's as effective as it would be if every agency was housed in one building for veterans.
Ms. Guy, you gave us a little bit of an insight in your, in your testimony. Women are now 15% of the armed services of the United States, and I'm wondering, from your own experience, and maybe from fellow soldiers who are women, what do you think are the biggest obstacles faced by returning female veterans that are not addressed by the programs that have, obviously because of our history, traditionally been designed for men? What do you think, if you had a magic wand and could tailor something that is particularly responsive to female veterans returning, particularly in this whole field of homelessness and related services, what would it be? I got a little sense from your statement that you're a little frustrated with trying to figure out where to get help and how to coordinate it, and you're lucky to have your congressman be responsive and hook you up, so to speak. But
right, I just want to say that he really hit the nail on the head as far as the issue, and it's not just female veterans, but all veterans.